The past, the present, the future. This is Friday Night's Fright. What the planet is listening to.
Hello, this is Ian Austin Gang and welcome back to ShudderMania 2019. On this edition, should hopefully be a bit more successful than the last one, I'm going to be looking at the various TV series on Shudder, giving an idea of what they're about, what sort of genre diversification they have, and whether any of them sound good. Of course, there are a couple I've seen, in which case I'll be doing more of a slightly in-depth analysis of those ones, but in general, just be a casual look at them, a discussion of them, see if any of them pop your fancy, and just generally have a good time. But anyway, I'll be back in just a second after this brief word from my sponsor. And welcome back to ShudderMania 2019. So we're going to kick off today's little exploration into the midst of Shudder, to the bowels if you will. Starting off with having a look at Shudder TV shows, and namely the most popular one, 5 out of 5 Skulls on Shudder, one season 2019 English TVMA, At Last Driving with Joe Bob Briggs, where he basically does what I do, but I don't even know if it's arguably better. I think it pretty much is, certainly better produced, where he'll look at Shudder movies in a live format, poke some fun at them, and everyone will join along on Twitter, which I know it might sound like I'm a bit envious or all of that. I think it's very cool. I love that Shudder is doing stuff like this, you know? It's very awesome. It's definitely a cool thing. So I'm not going to watch any today. I haven't really, to be honest, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I don't watch this that much. And the reason is, especially stuff like ShudderMania, if I'm ever going to do Shudder movies, like, to cover them, I can't really watch stuff like this as often as I'd like, because I don't want, if I watch it, prohibits me from recapping these movies. I can't watch him and then recap movies, because I will, whether consciously or not, I will be taking jokes that he has and putting them in them. So I have to veer away from it. But at the same time, I respect the fact that they have this on their system and that they'll put some fun movies they have, because it's good. Anyway, going back to the specifics. The description of it is proving once again that the driving will never die. Iconic host, horror hosting, exploitation movie aficionado Joe Bob Briggs is back with an all-new Shudder original series, hosting weekly Friday night double features, streaming live exclusively on Shudder. That's fucking awesome. That's really cool. And maybe after ShudderMania finishes, I'll watch some of that, but I'd want to watch on a casual basis. They've also got a horror podcast on there called Chic Is, but hosted by horror icon Adrian Barbeau. It explores horror for a female lens, conversations from women in and be in front of and behind camera. That sounds pretty cool, actually. Traversing tit-lane topics like sex by death, damsels in stress, final women, rape / revenge, and non-exploitation. That sounds quite interesting. And I like having different perspectives on horror. So that's cool. You got Narrow Caves, which is podcast series. Fangora presents Narrow Caves, sponsored by Shudder. But what's it about? It's the first audio state ever released, a new product combining the grandiosity of Hollywood films with the intimacy of audio, creating a movie experience. Adapted from the script by award-winning novelist, screenwriter, and director S. Craig Zeller. Brackets Bone Tom Hawk. Now case features voice acting by Vincent D'Onofrio, Will Patton, Lily Simmons, and Wyatt Russell. Interesting. So it's like a horror movie of sorts, but in podcast form. I shall add that to my list. Black Lake, everybody. Oh man, some point I'm going to finish that fucking series. Because I loved it. It was really fun. I sort of feared away for doing TV for a fair while. It's like it didn't really fit in with where I was going in terms of podcast, but I remember having a lot of fun with Black Lake. I don't remember much of it, but it was a really good series and a good way to start a podcast. Kind of a holdover from when this podcast was Friday Night Shudder instead of Friday Night Fright, but I think I'll get back to it eventually, and I do recommend Black Lake. So then we've got more stuff from Last Drive-In, very Bob Xmas, and Joe Bob's Dingers of Death, which sounds cool. They're like theme ones, I guess. Then got Dead Wats, a mind-bending neo-noir about a legendary record in case anyone hears it and drives its owners mad. Again, I mean, their TV series sound cool, but to be honest, recapping TV series is difficult because primarily this podcast is about movies, and TV series take up a fair bit of time to recap, and they come at the expense of the movies. And honestly, after about 6-7 weeks of TV show, you sort of run out of jokes for it. I did that of Handball. I ran out of jokes for the Handball TV series quite early on. And you also want to do something different. You know, you do TV shows and that's the big chunk of your life devoted to that. And if your podcast is about more than a TV show, after a certain point you don't really have the enthusiasm to keep going. But that sounds cool. You've got Jailers, which is Portuguese. A jailer in a Sao Paulo penitentiary, Adrian, to deal with problems of system, putting his principles to the test and risking his own personal life. I don't know how that's a horror movie, but that's fine. That's fair enough. Video Palace, a Shudder original podcast. Nice to see Shudder getting into the podcast market. When a video collector investigates a mysterious white VHS tape, he's caught in cult conspiracy surrounding a legendary video store. That sounds like something I could listen to because I like listening to stuff while I write, so that'd be cool. Another podcast, not Shudder original. Darkest Night, a binaural audio drama, and places you, the listener, at the centre of a recovered memory. It sounds as though it's happening around in real time. Shit, that sounds really awesome. I'll add that to the list. Video Palace, add to the list too. I already add Video Palace to the list. Todd but Pure Evil. I know this one. I know that. I remember that series. Not Shudder original, but I know of that series. I thought there were more seasons than that. Maybe it's all Shudder can get. Anyway, book Pure Evil, make your deepest, darkest desires come true, ... and it's loose in Crowley High. Interesting. Last Drive in July 2008 marathon. Joe Bob Briggs brings Shudder to Last Driving. Okay, that's cool. AMC's Visionaries, Robert Kirkman's Secret History of Comets. Well, that's not horror, but Shudder's diverse finds, that's cool. And that would be something I'd be fancy quite listening to. I'm quite big in comic books, so not something I'd cover on podcasts, sadly, but still sounds quite cool. The Core, a genre movie-making series, Blood, Guts and Brains. I'll be adding that to the list because I like to hear about horror movies. Supermats, not an Arrow spin-off. Trapped in deactivated maximum security prison. A bunch of contestants are haunted by mysterious presence. Yeah. I'll add to the list. I don't think I'll get around to watch that. Tripalium, French. Oh, French, they're quite cool. It's the end of the 21st century and society is in decline, divide between the employed and jobless who live in a dystopian fringe. Here's the thing. These all sound good, and I definitely recommend watching them, but I don't know when I have fucking time to watch any of these, you know? I wish I had more time. I really did, but... Anyway, Congaria podcast experience, 1 season. Private detective Jen Walker searches for a missing kid named Claire. Again, that sounds awesome, but there's no fucking time, really, you know? Tales of the Unexpected, 1979. A collection of bizarre, macabre, sing-sing amusing stories, each with twist and tale. Again, sounds great. I would definitely love to have time to watch something like that, but there you go. A Wolf Creek series. A 19-year-old American tourist seeks to avenge a family's murders at the hands of Outback psychopath Mick Taylor. I haven't seen the movies. Honestly, I haven't seen Wolf Creek movies. I'm sure this will probably be a very watchable show. I add to the list, but I don't know if I get to it. Masters of Horror, 2005. Haven't seen this either. 13th most acclaimed directors of horror and suspense have gathered from around way to their darkest dreams in their own distinctive styles. I mean, yeah, let's look at the episodes and see who's directed them. It's not going to say who's directed them. Oh, except for John Carpenter's one, which I'll definitely watch John Carpenter's one at some point, and I'd love to watch all of them, but I know it's a broken record. It's fucking time, man, you know? Insight Yet's this podcast experience. In 1973, Hey came home and invaded the body of a young woman. This story of moving its makers. That's definitely one I'm listening to. I fucking love like horror podcasts based in movies and going in background of them. Hammer House of Horror, Legendary Hammer presents School's Mysteries, Vengeance from Beyond Grave, Times Tales of Undying Curses. I'm sure that's good. I don't think I'll ever have time to watch that. Deadly Mangers and Podcast Experience. When murder starts killing off dinner party guests, the main few must figure out who's responsible. A dark comedic podcast. Sounds great. I definitely recommend that. Missions, Shudder, French. First team successfully land on Mars, pulled into a scary supernatural mystery. Again, like, that sounds awesome. This is time. The Valley. An amnesiac must unravel a strange mystery after wake up in town for secrets. German. That sounds good. Grace. When man succumbs to weakness, unspeakable horror comes to his family. Again, sounds great. Half-Wits. In Jakarta, humans and age-old Indonesian creatures set on collision course. Sounds weird. And Beyond Walls. In Shudder exclusive series, therapist inherits a mysterious house and its terrifying parallel dimension within. That sounds really fucking cool, actually. Right, so that's Shudder TV. And the gist seems to be, they all sound really fucking cool, but if you have time to watch them, I definitely would recommend Black Lake particularly. But the Insight Yet sounds very cool. Mission sounds interesting. The Valley sounds really, really good. Narrow Cave sounds jolly good. Supermat's Tripalium, I guess, and Secret History of Comets by Rob Kirkman sounds really, really fascinating. So yeah, I think they all sound like good selection of TV. It's just, again, there's no fucking time to watch endless stuff, you know? But hey, that's my problem, not yours. It might be your problem. You don't have time to watch it. But anyway, enough about that. I'm signing off to tomorrow, where I'll be back with Lords of Salem. But until then, remember, life is beautiful.